Isn't this the best? Waking up for a new day with calm music, the first smells of coffee filling the air. Wow, I love mornings like this. I don't have some high energy morning routine or those intense gym shots you see everywhere. Just a solid night's sleep, a little calm, and I'm ready to dive into the day. Honestly, that's all I need to get in the zone. Now, I could go into detail about all the tools that keep me productive, but let's not get lost in all that right now. I'll save the full tour for another video. For today, here's a quick panoramic view. I start with my Pomodoro timer to keep me focused. Then it's on to my go-to tools. IntelliJ and VS Code for coding, Warp and iTerm with Z Shell for the terminal, Obsidian for notes, and both Brave and Chrome browser for testing. I've also got Postman for API calls and a handful of others essentials I reach for every day. With everything up and running, I'm ready to rock. I'm sure you're expecting some mouth-watering footage of me whipping up a picture-perfect breakfast, and well, you're not wrong. Before heading out, I like to keep it simple but energizing. Sometimes it's a quick, healthy homemade breakfast like the one here. Avocado, some eggs with a bit of cheese for a simple omelette, mushrooms, and a slice of whole grain toast. Nothing fancy, just the basics to start the day strong. Alright, I'll admit, my chef skills only shine on camera. I promise you my omelette don't usually come out this perfect. It's a bit of movie magic here to make me look like a pro. In reality, I'm more likely to have it stuck to the pan or accidentally overflipped. For real though, I try to go with a balanced breakfast. There's a whole order to eating this stuff. Veggies first for the fiber, then the protein with eggs, and finish up with a little bit of carbs from the toast. Keeps the energy up without the sugar crash. But do I follow that order every time? Not exactly. Sometimes it's just a grab and go, whatever keeps me fueled without a second thought. One of my favorite parts of the day is taking a break at the Café. A quick reset away from the screen and a chance to step back before diving back in. It's all about finding that balance, especially when you've been glued to your desk for a while. So I grabbed my e-scooter for a little trip to clear my head. Now let me tell you about the Voie Verte I take to get there. It's this beautiful, traffic-free pathway designed just for pedestrians and cyclists. They built it about 5 years ago, and it's one of the best things the city has done to make commuting more enjoyable. It's so peaceful, just trees and fresh air, far from the usual noise and traffic. And here's the thing, I try to make small changes wherever I can to reduce my carbon footprint. So, my e-scooter is just one of those simple, eco-friendly choices that helps me get around with a lot less impact on the environment. It's light, foldable, and perfect for short trips. It's all part of doing what I can to live a little greener. Even though I've lived in Geneva for over 12 years now, I have to admit, I don't know every corner of the city. But that's the fun part, right? There is always something new to discover, whether it's a hidden cafe or a quiet park that you didn't even know existed. I love taking a few moments to explore and get inspired by the places I haven't noticed before. After a quick tour, I'm settling into my favorite spot at the Café. Now, my work days are generally a mix of architecture, design, training courses, coding, managing production environments, and integrating systems. But if I'm honest, I can't spend all day focusing on infrastructure as code. I just don't have the time. And let's be real, today's full-stack developers are like band members juggling multiple instruments, covering everything from front-end to back-end to deployment. It's essential for staying adaptable, especially in modern tech environments. But while I enjoy working with DevOps tools, the deep dive work is often reserved for dedicated teams in larger companies. So finding a solution to get my applications into production without hours of setup, that's crucial for me. And that's where BUNNYSHELL really steps in. It's a deployment tool that takes out the complexity and lets me push updates without the heavy overhead. With just a few steps, I'm able to deploy my applications, keep everything running smoothly, and not have to break my head over configuration details. It's all about making my workflow efficient, and BUNNYSHELL has been the tool that lets me do just that. So how does it work? And by the way, a huge thanks to BUNNYSHELL for supporting this video. BUNNYSHELL makes deploying applications easier without diving deep into complex setup. Their documentation is thorough, with step-by-step explanations on configuring projects and environments. After all, we are dealing with some technical stuff here, so it's great that they've made such a well-organized, detailed guide. One thing I really like is how they've made it accessible for all kinds of developers. The documentation is packed with helpful screenshots, so you're never left guessing. It's simple to follow along and set up your environment while you're actually coding on your project. Whether you're configuring staging, testing, or production, BUNNYSHELL guides you through every part of the process. Plus, instead of spending hours troubleshooting or looking up fixes, the interface gives you direct feedback. So while you're working on integration or pushing updates, you're saving time and avoiding the usual deployment headaches. It's really built to let you focus on coding, not just setup. Once we've got our project set up on GitHub, the next step is creating a new project on BUNNYSHELL. Setting up an environment is easy. BUNNYSHELL walks you through each step, so even complex setup feel pretty straightforward. I start by connecting my GitHub account to BUNNYSHELL, which allows me to access the specified repository I want to deploy. From here, I select the branch I'll be working with and identify the Docker Compose file to use. BUNNYSHELL makes this part intuitive, letting me map out what the deployment will look like without a ton of back and forth. And then comes the fun part, deployment. Once I've selected the deployment cluster, BUNNYSHELL handles the rest. It's super efficient, and honestly, once the configurations are set, you're really just one click away from launching. After that, all that's left to do is sip your coffee and let BUNNYSHELL work its magic. What I love about this is the time it saves me. Rather than wrestling with endless setup steps or spending my day in terminal windows, BUNNYSHELL keeps my process clean and simple. I can keep my focus on coding and refining, knowing that my deployment is taken care of. So once I'm in the flow, coding, making changes and pushing commits, BUNNYSHELL takes it from there. It handles those updates smoothly, deploying changes and even sending real-time notifications, so I'm always in the loop. This kind of automation, total game changer. Thanks for tagging along with me today. I hope you enjoyed a little look into my workflow, and if you found it helpful, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more. Until next time, keep coding and stay productive.